Everybody doing? Today's topic: what happened to Anna Kepner? Who was responsible? I want to talk a little bit about other things as well. Can everybody hear me? Let's hear it, everybody. There we go. So today we want to talk about another case that's out there, and just want to mention it because there's been a little bit of information that has come out, and I want to be able to cover that. Now, there's some things that we still have other things to sort out with, even with Nancy Guthrie, trying to figure her out. But right now, let's start off this channel by talking about what happened to Anna Kepner. What happened to Anna Kepner? That's the big thing right now to for us to get into, to see what, not only what happened, but why did it happen. Anna Kepner, 16-year-old, a 16-year-old young lady, literally. She was in Florida high school. She was a cheerleader, very well known. She was found unalive during a vacation trip with her stepdad, mom, and her two step brothers. Now, they were on the carnival, if I'm not mistaken. And apparently, somewhere in the night, something happened to her. Paige, good morning, Paige. Something in the night, something happened to her. Now, there's a lot of nuances. I just want to cover the preliminary things. I don't want to get too deep in it because that we'll save that for later on today. But Anna Captor, 18-year-old cheerleader, Florida high school, went on a wasn't originally she wasn't going to go on this trip, but she was convinced by her half siblings, half brothers, if you will. Norma's in the house. Good to have you, Norma. Good to have you. She was convinced by her half brothers to go because she originally wasn't going to go. She was going to stay with her mom. But nevertheless, they convinced her and she went. And it was on a family cruise that they took November the 25th. This was on the Carnival Horizon, is the name of the ship. And during that process, a lot of things happened. One night, mysteriously, during the wee hours in the morning, they all slept, which was kind of odd, but they slept in the same, for all sake of purposes, in the same rooms, except the mom and the dad, they slept in their own. And so what ended up happening is that one night Anna became unalive. And they found her after looking all over for her. They found her literally underneath, apparently what appears underneath the bed where the life jackets and preservers are covering her. They found her unalive during a search. All hands was called out to search. They always worry about people jumping overboard, falling overboard on a ship cruise. That's notoriously what happens. someone either will fall over or purposely jump over. Okay. Good morning from Park Rapids, Minnesota. Cheryl, welcome in, Johnson. Thank you for being here. So, normally, that's usually if something goes wrong, something becomes unalive, usually it's because they jump ship, jump over, or they just fall by accident. Paige says her parents failed her and allowed this, and now her father refuses to testify for the prosecution, so he's failing her, in my opinion. Well said. Well said. Well said. And so now they end up finding her underneath a bunch of life jackets, preservers, or whatnot. And after all the evidence comes back, she is shown to have been SA'd by someone. And also, it appears she was unalived, like this, around the neck. So, over a period of time, they go end up, and they're you got to understand these. It's not that simple because they're out in uncharted waters. Okay, they're basically out at sea, so they're not like close to inland. But what ends up happening, and I'm just gonna give you some details, okay? Because I want you to understand who we're talking about here. It's very important. So this young lady is the lady, Anna Kepner. This is the one that went unalived. Okay. Now, apparently things have come out since, but we'll get to that. And that is her half brother mm, who is the suspect. That's her half brother right there. This is a brother that was originally charged, her half brother, Timothy Hudson. He is 16 years of age. He was literally charged. And the thing about it is, they even upped the charge to as an adult, and he's 16 years old. Paige being protected by his stepfather, no doubt. And it's a really sensitive issue with the family because the mom and the husband, they had gotten married. They've only been married a very short time. I mean, I'm talking possibly weeks. And they took this vacation to kind of try to bond together. And that's what happened. Yes, that's the stepbrother. Correct, Paige. So here's a little bit so you understand the dynamics. The federal courts did pronounce him to be, the prosecutors identified him as Timothy Hudson, and they charged him with first degree murder. That it happened on the Carnival Horizon, as I stated earlier, a ship in international waters. Anna Kepner died from mechanical asphyxiation. Good morning, Falls. Good morning. So this should have never happened. It obviously, and it happened in Florida. Returning back, they were returning back to Miami when it happened. A Miami federal judge approved trying Timothy as an adult, meaning he could face life sentence if convicted. Her little brother heard it all from the next room, says Page. Multiple outlets reported that the accused teen initially remained under electronic monitoring. Prosecutors later sought to revoke the arrangement after an adult indictment. So when they went ahead and moved it up to charging him as an adult, they changed the dynamics. He heard shouting, threats, and furniture being banging around. Anna Kepner, 18 years old, Florida high school, from Tutsville, was found dead in her cabin aboard the cruise ship November the 2025 during a family vacation. Investigators ended up focusing on her half brother, and soon enough, he was charged. So, the idea that her half brother did this, I don't think anybody is arguing that. Her boyfriend said stepbrother was constantly trying to get in her bed. Anna feared that little jerk. Yes, that is true. So apparently, there was a lot of warning signs that this kid, Timothy, was not all there. There was something missing, something wrong with him. Because even the boyfriend, as Paige put it earlier, had shared that he was constantly trying to make his way with her, for a better lack of words. And she was afraid of him. She was afraid of him. This 18-year-old was afraid of this 16-year-old. And it appears that a lot of people had gotten wind of what was this kid, what the concerns was for this kid. I got to turn my camera a little bit because of the sun. So a lot of people were concerned of what was happening. But the parent at the time, the dad, the mom, stepdad, mom, they just they didn't see it. I guess they just didn't want to believe it. And yes, if you want to say they failed her, that's a good way of putting it. They failed her. They failed to protect the 18-year-old, literally Anna. That was their responsibility, and they did fail to protect. Pay says, I hate people. So the idea that this happened by a 16-year-old who is now being charged as an adult is big news right now. People can uh, people can f off, in my opinion. Did someone say something? Paige said her little brother heard it all from the room. He heard shouting, threats, and furniture banging around. Her boyfriend saw stepbrother do it on FaceTime while she slept. Paige, her boyfriend alerted its own dad, who alerted her dad. Paige, I'm enraged. I hate people. People can F off, in my opinion. So the idea becomes the idea is that they did go ahead and he is being tried as an adult. Totally understandable how this could really bother a lot of individuals. Should have never happened. The body was found underneath the bed in the cabin she shared with siblings. Federal investigators later accused a 16-year-old. The prosecutors came out and said Hudson, the 16-year-old Timothy, strangled Anna and tried to conceal her body. They knew, says Page. Someone say something, please. DNA evidence and surveillance feeds were reported part of this investigation. So they had camera footage, they had surveillance footage, and they did have surveillance and feeds, DNA. So there's no doubt this happened by this individual, in my opinion. The case is still going under investigation currently. And he needs to go to adult prison with the real badass dude says Falls. The case update: Anna's 16-year-old half brother was tried as an adult. The trial to begin June of 2026. It's in court in Miami. The father, he stated that the suspect showed no remorse towards what he did. Now the suspect is currently staying with the uncle. The reason I bring this case up is just an awareness of what happens when you don't keep full contact, full eyes on your kids. Stuff like this is always able to happen. Judge just ruled ankle monitor again, says Page. And so I wanted to introduce this case because I think this is going to be a case we're going to start diving into. I wanted to go ahead and give you the preliminaries so that you could see, and obviously it's definitely very serious for the most part. It's very serious. Doesn't matter that he's 16. It's the idea of what he did, and there has to be consequences for your actions. So that is a case that we're going to be covering as well. I just wanted to throw that out there from the beginning because we are going to be covering that case thoroughly. When they left, how they left, she didn't want to go at first. She really didn't want to go on this trip. They finally convinced her, and when she went, this is what happened to her. Very sad, very very sad. And yes, that 16-year-old, even though he's 16, he needs to be held accountable. My guess, they're going to charge him as an adult. Don't know where they're going to put him, but my guess is not going to be good all the way around. Now, this has caused, obviously, this would cause a lot of new couples, marriage couples, to go through a lot of problems because they were literally are just basically newlyweds for that matter. They're new couples. The crap that I see on Instagram, oh my God, man, no words. I can only imagine. And there's always going to be people that have different views and what should happen and how did he become this way and, the mental illness and so forth and so forth. Yes, I'm an angry person. Yes, I am. Fact. Gronsky, does this bring 10 to 20 years? Does this bring 10 to 20 years? It's going to, well, as an adult, he's going to be found guilty. My guess, my only guess, it's possible that they could put him in a some type of detention center until he's 18 and then switch him over to prison as an 18-year-old because that's usually what they do now. This could be different. I don't think so. I think they'll wait till he's 18, they'll put him in jail. He'll just be in an underage facility for people who are under the age of 18. And then when he turns 18, they'll move him. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're looking at probably anywhere from 10 to 20 easily. Easily, Gronsky. You're looking at 10 to 20. And, you know, it's just going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out. Trauma begets trauma and on, says Paige. Paul says it reminds me of the Jesse Butler case. Paige, never heard of that one yet, Falls. Do tell, Falls. Let's stick with this right now. So that's what's going on, Gronsky. He's looking at about 10 to 20. I don't think there's going to be any type of like, you know, 10 to 20 and you do, 8 or 9. I don't think they're going to do that. I think he's going to get the whole 20 and he's going to have to serve that whole 20 out. Um, that's just what I see. You know, they could get him for a lot of smaller charges, but obviously the big one was the unaliving charge, willfully unaliving. So that is what we are going to be covering. Page Falls, high school football player who raided and strangled girls and got away with it. Stillwater, Oklahoma. And that don't surprise me a bit. Who was that name of that individual? Jesse Butler. Jesse Butler. Go figure. Spirit, I've got an app. We'll catch you on rerun later. Hope you all are having a good chat. We are, Spirit. Thank you for being here. Pace, thank you, Falls. Uh, yes, great. Spirit, be back later. Sounds good, Spirit. Thank you. Thank you. Page, okay, Spirit. Falls, he got counseling. Yeah, well, this kid is not getting that lucky. He ain't getting no counseling. I mean, he may see a therapist or something, but I don't think that's going to do him any justice. Now, we don't know his story. Gronsky, take care, Spirit. Page Falls, I see it happening again here. No, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't see that going to happen at all. I mean, if that was going to happen, they would have never tried him as an adult. Once they tried him as an adult, he is going to do time. He may not do time for a couple years until he's 18, but once he's 18, they're shifting him from a minimal down to God only knows where. The Gaza Fortilla. Not sure what that means, Paige, but okay. But this case, Gaza, period. Okay. The idea, why? So the other thing is that we're going to be diving into this case, trying to, follow it, go through the whole channels with it because it's something that really needs to be, she needs to be heard, and this kid does not need to be let go. I mean, here's the thing, we don't know what this kid, and I'm not making excuses for him, but we don't know what he learned, where he got this thing that he could do stuff like this. Is it something he was just, I don't know. I don't know what his reasonings were. Talking about world trauma, sorry, I will focus, says Paige. So the idea literally is that when stuff like this usually happens, it's usually very, very um, complex because you have to look at what happened to this kid. Did someone grape him when he was little? Did Was he always this way? Was he, what was it? They always look for different things. And like once again, I'm not saying that I don't condone anything he did, and I think he needs to go to prison and he needs to consequences have actions. But it would be interesting to see who plays in, because right now that he's living with his uncle. Okay, right now he's currently living with his uncle, and the issue is that because he's living with his uncle, you have to ask the question: well, does that uncle have any family? And if so, why would you put this person in your house? Now I don't know that dynamics yet, but the uncle does have him at his house. Good morning, April. Welcome in, April. We've hit a nerve, says Paige. And so the idea is just trying to understand all the dynamics, all the nuances. So we're going to be covering that possibly later today. Later today, we are going to cover that. Okay. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I wanted you guys to be able to look that up and look some information over and try to figure out what you can bring to the table. It is a very touchy subject, a very touchy subject, and, but it's a clear cut case to me from what I see. The only thing we don't know is the dynamics of what happened in the past to this young man to feel like he needed to do this. He needed to unalive his half sister. What was the purpose? What was the thinking? What was he thinking? I'm not even going to say, was he on drugs? Was he high? None of that, because none of it is, that sounds too much of an excuse. Oh, the defense will try to say he was mentally unfit. Wow, that's interesting, Falls. Paige, yes, thank you, dog, and mods and chat. So we are going to cover this case. I just wanted to throw it out there at the beginning. Beautiful day today in Ohio. Sun is out. Ah, it's just gorgeous day. So that's what we have to wait for, literally. Okay. Now, as far as the case, April, I remember reading about that case. Yeah, it's a very touchy case, no doubt about it, because of what it deals with, what it really talks about, the narrative, the information. So you can almost visualize this. Now, in the same token, we are also looking at Joanna Ruth Shields. There's no still toxicology reports have not come in, so we're still waiting for that. That should be interesting as well. There looks like there could be a person of interest, which is the person that was hiking with her, but we just don't know yet. We just don't know because they haven't gave a ruling as to what is or was the cause of unaliving, of her becoming unalive. And then on the top of that, we don't know exactly who this other individual that was hiking with her, what his name is. So there's a lot of stuff to be digging in there, but a lot of it's going to come out probably when the toxicology report comes out. That's probably when you're going to hear a lot more. So I'm waiting every day for that one. Then you got Holly Dossel. Holly Dossel, same thing. There's not a whole lot of movement there. Found unalive near the tracks. She was 37, and apparently there was a lot of trauma to her, a lot of wounds or whatnot, and that would be that case. And there is not. Now, 857 is working on that case. He's still trying to gather information, and we need to gather information. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how that one unfolds as well. What parent would help prosecute the perp for justice for his little girl? Right? I agree with that, Paige. April, why would they put him in her in the same room was my first thought. Yeah, well, I guess at the time maybe they just didn't think about it. They didn't think that this would could end up like this, to be honest. What if it was your son who committed this? I'd be in shambles. I'd be very, very much in shambles. I would be very, very much in a I would be very torn as a father. As a father, I would be very torn. You know, I mean, That's a tough question to ask. What would you do? What I would do is do the right thing, because the other person would mean the other person is my daughter, and I would do the right thing. But the idea is, it's easy to say that now because you're not in those shoes. But once you're in those shoes, it's a whole different ballgame. There's a lot to consider, a lot of factors, a lot of different things. But I would think I would do the right thing, and literally, love your son, but you know what? Everything has consequences. Never gonna stop loving you, but everything has consequences. I thought it was sad before he made advances towards her, but maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was sad. Yeah, it might have. He might have. He might have made passes at her. I know that the boyfriend was very suspicious. I know there was other people saying that something was wrong with this kid, but they just never. It doesn't seem like they really took action to figure that out. On FaceTime, her on that FaceTime, her boyfriend shouted out at the stepbrother, ran. Shouted out at the stepfather, and he ran. Yeah, I don't know all the integral dynamics. I want to do some research on it. I just wanted to bring this case up. You guys know probably a little bit more than I do. But the reality is, I just wanted to make you guys aware that that's what we're going to be talking about. The boyfriend told his dad. Yeah, very sad situation. I saw this video on her boyfriend. He is testifying, as he should. As he should, says Paige. He is testifying. Her dad is not testifying. Well, it's because it's probably a very tough situation to be in. I can only imagine. It's a very tough situation to be in. He pleads the fifth. The dad pleads the fifth. Yes, the boyfriend knew about the advances and they allowed them to sleep in the same room after, is what I heard. And that's, there should be some accountability that the dad should have to face. If that is correct and true, then yes, he should be facing some consequences as well. Because in essence, he contributed to this whole unraveling of situation to occur. He should have known better. If he knew about it and did do nothing, well, then he's just as much as a problem, to be honest, in my opinion. Yes. Yes, she has become unalive, Paige. Yep. And little brother heard it all, Paige. That is correct. So, once again, this is something we're going to be covering. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of what my mind thinking is as to where we're going. Poor little brother. Little brother, a victim too. Yes. Bad dad, says Paige. So that's where that's at. The reason I'm pausing is because I'm trying to wait till everybody. I gave a baby to adoption. Interesting, Paige. To protect him. I watched the case, not seen many, but this caught my attention like Gabby and Nancy. Paige, I did the right thing. That is great, Paige. You did the right thing. No doubt about it. He has a safe life. Totally understandable, Paige. Totally understandable. Well, it seems like a lot of people know this case. So this wouldn't be a hard one for us to dabble into. I know him. We are tight. That is great, Paige. So happy for you. So happy for you. All right, everybody. So let's get to the other case. We'll come back to this. We're going to be talking about this case. Just right now, let's shift gears here and get into Nancy Guthrie. What is happening? What is happening? Can we do that? But these are the cases that need attention in my well, they all need attention. April, they all these cases need attention, and that's why we're gonna cover it. I can't cover something that I don't know all the details about. I just wanted to go ahead and bring it up. I wanted to bring it up so you guys knew what we were going to be doing. All cases need to be covered as much as possible. Everyone deserves a voice. That goes without saying. And we will do that. We will do that to the best of our abilities. Sound good, everybody? Sound good? All right. So let's get back to our case that brought us really all together. I have no friends or family, so I know the news 100. That's awesome. Yes, dog. Cheryl, yeah, sounds good. So, Nancy Guthrie. So we have some ideas of some people of interest. We have some ideas of what the streamers are going through there up there at the Catalina foothills across from Nancy's house. We know that there's some people that really don't want the streamers there. We've covered that. We know that there's a person in charge of the Catalina Foothills, which is the HOA. Her name happens to be Sue Ellen. Sue Ellen, that is the person in charge. So yesterday when we were talking, some things that came up to my mind was why are they not communicating, or why isn't Sue Ellen just telling, how Sue Ellen drives back and forth? Why doesn't she just stop? Because she stops sometimes to say probably nasty things. I don't know. But she always stops sometimes to talk to people just for a couple seconds. And it's probably nothing nice. But why not take that moment for her to ask, for them to have a discussion as to what can they do to bridge that gap? Because that's not what's happening right now. They're not bridging no gap. And instead, I would venture to say that this is going way out left field. Page Ted Investigates is on his way to Crime Con in Las Vegas. And Shibby is live streaming with Ted as the guest right now. Interesting. Yeah, Crime Con. My wife told me that she was going to get me to go next year to the Crime Con. So I am thinking about doing that next year. Juanita, tried to talk to her. It's impossible. Yeah, I mean, she is very, very, in my opinion, from what I see, she's very thick headed. She's hard to communicate with. And she's probably one of those people that have made up her mind and she's not going to do or listen to anyone. Bringing awareness to Nancy's case. So it just doesn't make any sense. And then you wonder, the affiliations, how well does Annie know Sue Ellen? How well do they know each other? Does anybody got any insight as to how well do they know? Are they joined at the hip? Do they have great conversation? Do they have does anybody know? Hey dog, can you show us a pic of Sue Ellen, please? Yes. Yes, give me a second. Let's see here. Yes, yes, yes. All right, everybody. Give me a second. I'm going to show you a picture of Sue Ellen. Let's see, Sue Ellen, Nancy Guthrie case. Let's see. Oh, dear. Okay. Let's see here. Hang on a second, everybody. Let's see what we got here. I'm not seeing anyone here. Here, see. Everybody, I'm not finding a picture to be honest. I'm trying to find it. Yeah, I don't have one of her. I'm trying to find it, but I can't find anything right now, everybody. Do apologize. I also think Lauren did also. And who is Lauren, please, someone, says Paige. I know Lauren threw the nice dinner for streamers last week. April, Lauren had the dinner for streamers and took care of Memorial and was a friend of Nancy. Hell, good morning, DD and everybody. Paige, I rarely watch JLR. Paige, thank you so much, dog. April, she lives in the neighborhood and she lives in the neighborhood and so does Juanita. Paige, is Juanita married to Alex? Gronsky, good morning, Gronsky. April, I hope my comments are working. We see them this morning. Spent an hour on chat with YouTube yesterday for them to tell me they don't know the issue. LOL. Thank you so much, April. I 1985 says Paige. L, good morning, Gronsky and Paige. April, faithful servant 77 has a clip of SE, I think. Yeah, we're gonna have to get it from him because I don't have something on her. I can't find anything on her. It's okay, dog. So the idea of what's going on over there is not going to really do anybody any justice if there's not some type of coming together, you know? L told some people about the channel last night. I think they subscribed. I know at least one did. We had a lot of subscribers yesterday, everybody. Make no mistakes, a lot of subscribers. Even after the live, there was a lot of people that came in and subscribed. I'm guessing we finished yesterday with about, I don't know, 14, 15 subscribers that day. So it was a very, very good thing. L says, awesome. The channel's growing. The channel's growing. But let's get back to with Nancy. Of course, Paige. So the other thing is, when you look at that person at the front door, do you think he's the leader of this pack, or do you think, remember the front porch guy? We never really talked about that. But do you think he is the literally the leader, or is he just a guy that's there, a body? Page, I posted in Ann and Todd Discord channel. Then Todd showed up yesterday. Gronsky, one would think that someone with so much education would do better. Huji, yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Very well said. But you also heard the theory, right? The smarter people can be, the smarter textbook people are, the less common sense they have, right? The more education one has, sometimes it's the less common sense they bring to the table. Al says, I think the porch guy is just an accessory to the crime. I do too. I don't think he's anything of significant other than just a body there. He's a body there. He's going to help either carry Nancy out, or he's going to help, in whatever way, shape, or form. I don't think he's a mastermind. After everything we have talked, does anybody think that T TC does anybody think TC is a very viable person of interest? What's your thoughts on TC? Oh, thanks, G. Got it. Does anybody think TC? Yes, says Paige. TC is a viable person of interest. I'm jumping around because I'm seeing what grabs everybody's goat here. TC, trying to get this thing channel going. Does anybody, okay? So Paige thinks TC is a viable person of interest. Absolutely, TC, says April. TC Bitcoin call, no doubt. Very, very true. I agree with that as well, wholeheartedly. Paige says a TCLDDCDELRG MONOPQRSTUVWXYNZ. Just kidding. Paige six. Paige has six people down. I hope that TC is just a victim, but looks like to be caught up in this Bitcoin. I agree with that. No, that well said, Gronsky. No doubt about it. Hell is laughing. So now let's ask the hard question. Do you think that Annie knew anything about it? Do you think Annie knew anything about it? I think multiple people were involved, or at least multiple people knew about it, says L. Paige, I don't hope it. April, I wasn't sure, but after the call, I can't unsee it. Paige, I suspect TC, not hope him guilty. No, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I would never want to put a family member as a person of interest or someone that could have done something like this. But it's so hard when you have so much anomalies going on, and you're trying to think and you're trying to wonder, why is this happening? You know? I pray not. Yeah, I get it. I get it. It's a horrible thing to think about. I don't know anymore, honestly. about A, I have mixed feelings and confusion as to whatever A's involved. Annie, as a wife, knows, in my opinion, says April. I kind of tend to agree with that. If T is involved, A knew about it. I know it sounds harsh, but T knew, if T knew, A's gonna know. She's joined at the hip with him. Paige, please understand that. Uh, I pray not. Please understand that. Growski, A, she is just in it for the ride, not a real player, says Growski. But does she know? Does she know what the plan was if T is involved? Do you think she knows what the plan was if T is involved? Yes, says L. I believe she knows. Maybe not a part of it, though. Yes. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking. But here's the thing, if she knew, she's an accessory to the crime, is she not? Because she knew and didn't tell anybody about it? Didn't tell the cops? Most likely, says Gronsky. Page, no one is above it, in my opinion. Look around. I mean, wouldn't she be considered an accessory since she knew about it and did nothing? What do y'all think on that? Because she would have to be an accessory if she knew about it and didn't tell anybody, especially the police or anyone. The company we keep. Amen. L, I think S knows also and left to get away from it. Yeah, I've been saying that, L, and that's a good point. I think S left because she, in her heart of hearts, knew, she felt that A and T were involved, and she just couldn't stomach seeing them every day there. That's a very good point, no doubt. Or at least she suspected them. Yes, that may be a better clarification. I'm sure she suspected them, especially after the fifth time that the police were going to their house and constantly looking for more evidence. I mean, that speaks pretty much volume right there. Got these little mini spiders here. Oh, that's sad. So sad. No doubt. Gronsky, she needs to distance herself from the bad vibes. I agree. No doubt about it. Your own blood relative might be psychic and hiding it like BTK, Jeffrey Dahmer, and Rex Humerman and Golden State Guy. Fact. So so I think it'd be fair to say that we think that a person of interest is not only T but could be very much A. Your neighbor or your coworker. That's interesting because I feel the same way. Do you think that because DC made that call, that 9-second phone call, do you think that DC needs to be a person of interest to the FBI? Your doctor or lawyer. Do you think anyone, do you think that DC is a person of interest? Yes. Yes, says Paige. Okay. So we got one yes there. I'm going to say yes as well because that phone call and that text message doesn't happen in a vacuum. That was pre-planned in my opinion. Gronsky, yep. So what else? Anybody else? L, what's your take on that? L falls April. April says TC 42 days card kept Bitcoin. How much do you need? Right? Right? I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Well said. Well said, April. Ding, 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 ding. Ring that bell, no doubt about it. Okay, so we pretty much cover those three people as to what our thoughts are, right? Gronsky says, ha ha, right? We pretty much covered those three people on what we really think. I missed what you said. Sorry, waiting for someone to get here to wash my house. What was the question? The question was, do you, who do you think TC needs to be literally a person of interest that the FBI needs to talk to? TC, is he a person that, and this is just to L because she missed the question. TC needs to be, or not TC, DC. DC needs to be talked to by the FBI because he is a person of interest because of the phone call and because of the message to Annie and Tommaso. What's your take? Talk to Annie, in my opinion. L, I absolutely think so. I think they know something's up with him. And last person to see her, forget that. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I agree 110%. Okay, so we covered those three individuals, right? Okay, we covered those three individuals. So now let's move to the next one. What is your take on LD? What is your take on LD? On everything that you know about this case, what is your assumption or what do you think about LD? Tell me what you think about the man, LD. Yes, LD says Paige. What do you think about LD, Paige? What do you think in the crime in the kidnapping of Nancy or the crime against Nancy? What is your tell me what when you hear LD, what do you think of? Anybody? What do you think of when you hear LD in the equation of Nancy gone missing? LD is the neighbor, about two houses down, possibly a friend of A&T. Okay, that's interesting, April. Good. LD lied about things, and that makes him suspicious, in my opinion. They had to have something on him to pull him over to. Very well said. Bringing up literally the search warrant. Hey, they had enough to get that warrant, no doubt. Well said. Groundsky, LD still number one for me, and his mom knows so much more. Well said, Groundsky. Page, LD left his phone at home during the kidnapping. Very true. He stated that. Groundsky, LD never cleared by LE. Very true. Very true. Page, he knows key players. You guys are on the game today because that's exactly right. I think LD is a player in this whole mess. I don't know how he fits. I just know he's a player in all this that has happened to Nancy. LD out of jail. Kayla still in jail, arrested together. Page, career criminal LD. There you go. So that pretty much narrows and sums it that LD needs to be looked at because he is a person of interest, right? By the FBI. So let's go to the next one. What about what about Kayla Day? What's your take? When you hear Kayla Day, what do you think of? What do you think of when Kayla Day pops into your mind? What is your thought on Kayla Day and the crime against Nancy? Does she have a role to play in it? Is she a person that the FBI needs to talk to? Is she someone that could have been involved in this? April, Kayla Day snitched on LD and others. Falls, trash. Okay. Falls with trash. And April, KD went ahead and snitched on LD and others. That's, yeah. Pace says, I don't know. pulling the nanos. I don't know. I don't know. I think she may know something. Very well said, Al, because I agree with you. I think she knows something. I don't know what her role is, but she seems to be hanging around with the same people who are involved in this, in my opinion. Nanos. Paige, she's right where she belongs. Paige, application falls. I think she could be the mastermind during ILD up to, in my opinion, very possible. That's a very good take. That's an interesting take. April, next. What do you all think of Kiki? Kiki, the person that was over there doing those horrible photo shots in front of Nancy. Al says, "Be right back, y'all. He's here." Okay. Paige, no. Paige says, "No on Kiki. No on Kiki." Anybody else? Anybody else have a take on Kiki? Paige, no, Kiki, in my opinion. Falls. Drugs make people do horrible things. Yes, they do. No doubt about it, Falls. 110%. Is that all we got for Kiki? I don't know if she has a game to be played. I think it's ironic that she knows the players. I think it's ironic that she knows just about everybody that we talked about. April Kiki, yes, and her photographer. Okay. I like that. Bring the pair in. I like that. Falls. I think Kiki is all about herself and wanted views. I think you may be right. I think you may be right, Falls. Page. Yes, Falls. But for me, I was still able to upload certain boundaries and morals. Let me ask you this question. Has anybody thought a mastermind? Okay, has anybody thought of a mastermind in Mojito or Mejito? Has anybody even thought he could be the mastermind? That question has never really been asked. Could Mejito been the orchestrator to this whole thing? Because he knew Kaleha, he knew TC, he was their manager, and he knew Annie. That's just it, Paige. You have morals, some people don't. I'm back. All right, El. So, do you think that Mojito could have been the mastermind instead of TC? Kiki Khan, thank you for the gifted membership. Thank you, Kiki. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Gronsky, need to find out where Kiki was on the day Nancy went missing. Interesting. That's true. That's very true. Very true. Paige. Okay, yes, agree 110%. Now he's that. Now, yes, that's it, Falls. Yep. April, no. L, not sure, but Mojito is definitely an interesting individual, says L. Totally agree. J Bug is in the house. Good to have you, J Bug. Very possible. That's thinking outside the box, no doubt about it. Thank you for that response, J Bug. Go ahead. If you're new here, like and subscribe. Everybody, click that like button, click the hearts, click it all. Let's get those algorithms going. Got to get my juices flowing here. Page. Hey, all members are white today, not green. The names in the chat. Paige, I don't notice that till just now. Groundsky, Mojito is a very odd looking dude, says Groundsky. Isn't it ironic that Mojito, we did this thing on Mojito, the line of all the connections and the tentacles, right? Isn't it amazing that he connects to everybody? Hey, 1985, no devil dog emojis. I thought my membership expired, but oh. They told me yesterday they have no glitches on YouTube, said L. Hey, dog, there's a problem. What's the problem, Paige? L, so strange, Paige. What we have, Paige? What's going on? What's going on, Paige? Anybody? The memberships all expired. No, there's this thing. No, there's just a glitch. There's just a glitch. The glitch is memberships not showing. So what ended up happening is there was a glitch. It got fixed, but it's going to take 24 to 48 hours to kick in. So you're fine. You're fine. No worries. You're fine. As a manager of setting up events, you would be connected, but I don't think he is involved, in my opinion. Very well said, April. L, not showing in green and emojis disappearing. You're okay. Trust me. Are you guys listening to me? Stop for a second. Okay, thank you, dog. So we had a glitch. The glitch was with the AdSense. The AdSense. That's what everything comes to. And we had fixed that this morning, but it's going to take 24 to 48 hours to go ahead and kick into it's already everything's already good, but it's going to take them 24 hours to 48 hours to go ahead and kick that in. So we're good. No worries, no worries. You're very welcome. April, I agree. L, yeah, I typed that before you said it was a glitch. That's all it is. No worries. No worries. So here's the thing. I just think it's interesting that he has a connection to everybody. Do I think that he is the mastermind? Honestly, not really, but I just think it's strange how he just knows everybody that we've been talking about. So that's why I threw his name out there. It's not because I had anything on him, not because I found anything on him. I mean, if you just look at him, that alone should bring chills to yourself. Just saying. But so true, so true. But he's a weird cat. Let's just be honest. He's a weird cat. So, let's see, this is getting hot. No, it's good. Hard to tell. Very hard. No doubt about it. Very hard. What about what about the double pack guy? What do you think of the double pack guy? Which one are we discussing? The double pack guy. The fence guy. Yeah, we just got done with Mojito. We just got done with Mojito, everybody. Now we're going to the double pack guy. Double pack guy, fence guy. Yes, Lopez, that one. What is your take on him? The guy that was at the fence trying to open up the fence, the double pack, he had two backpacks. What's your take? Okay, they got it now. They got it. What did they get? Okay, thank you. Got it now. Got you. Timing was Sue with RL. Timing was Sue with RL. Very interesting, L. Very interesting. Page. The keel was in the fence video. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Any other takers on the fence guy? Two backpack guy Lopez is a yes, says Groundsky. I kind of tend to agree with that. After reading the information that I did on the timestamps, they could be wrong. They could be off minutes. We were when it was presented, it was off by 5 minutes. Definitely falls within that time frame. No doubt about it. The alleged bloodstain on his backpack. Very interesting. Yes, that was quite interesting by Doug. Doug on Live Northport. No doubt. His body shape. Absolutely. No doubt. His MO. No doubt. No doubt. 100%. He knows key players. April, where does he live? Because in my opinion, it's someone close to A&T. Very possible. Very possible. Gotta go, dogs. Having an episode. Take care, everyone. You got it. You got it. Thank you, Falls. You got it. Anybody else on the double pack guy? Well, I guess we have no proof he knows TC or A, right? True. True. But does he fit the bill that the FBI should be talking to him? What is your all takes? Falls, prayers, says Els. Appreciate that, Els. Prayers to you, Falls. What about the guy that said, I am not a female? What's his story? If not close to A&T in the neighborhood, I'm a dismissing them. May be wrong, but that's my theory. Good theory, April. Good theory, no doubt. Paige, SI apologize for saying RN knows key players. If that is incorrect, then SI apologize for saying RL knows key players. If that is incorrect, then SI apologize for saying RL knows key players. If that is incorrect, then thanks. 1985 says false. Page. So L. Who's that? Paige. I am not a female person is R. Lopez. Remember he came on SI show and he said, I am not a female? When they were talking about the Porsche person possibly looking like a girl because of the eyelashes and the eyes, how they were nicely done. And he said and that person said he came on and said, I am not a female. He didn't say that was not a female. He said that doesn't look like a girl. He said I am not a female. And then they brought him into the chat and they have his name on there and his picture and he says that he's not a female. And so they tried to get kind of like where he was at, where he was located, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yes. So what's your take on him? Is he a person of interest? Yes, his facial features match the Porsche guy. Yes, in my opinion. April, I personally don't think the perp would peek on a forum and risk getting caught. Well, that's the thing, April. I think a lot of times, these people of interest, these suspects, for better lack of words, I think a lot of these people who committed this crime, they're actually watching what is being said on anybody's channel. The bigger ones more obviously, but I think he is watching, or they are watching, to see where the narrative is going, so they can, through bots, or through people who are sending bots in the channels, to change that narrative, to sway it some way or the other. You know what I mean? It's very possible. But I see your point, no doubt about it. Paige, maybe Lopez's job was to distract Ellie. Very possible. Very possible. The narrative, just so know that if someone's getting close, they throw out that narrative, right? They start swaying the public opinion theory, the what's getting close to them that they don't want. Across town, attract Ellie attention at the fence in that white Kia. Very true. Very true. You can't dismiss the white Kia, and we can't call everything literally a coincidence. L says Gronsky for real. Page 87, the backpacks. The backpacks. Interesting. April. Hall. Hell of a risk. I'm but true dog. Possible. Just a possibility. I'm not saying it is or isn't, because I don't have that facts for that. But I tell you, it's just the possibility. Just so when we look back, if it happens or could be him, we can say, nah, that wasn't the guy. Man, it is hot out here. Woo! Can't dismiss him yet, in my opinion. What about who else is left that we haven't talked about? What about Clay? What's his story? You guys think he could be involved? You think the cops need to look up to him, look at him, put him out there? Page. Yep, in neighborhood, says April. Hot dog, says Paige. Lisa, please come to AJ for a minute, and Marianne, so AJ can mod you. Oh, gee, thanks. Appreciate that. Go ahead. Go ahead, Lisa. Sandy. Sandy's in the house. Interesting. Hey, I'm scared to moderate again, Sandra. April, Lisa, you will do fine. Go, says April. I'm too scared to ruin it again, dog. You gotta break your fears. You're doing fine. You gotta break your fears, but you gotta decide. You gotta make that happen. All right, everybody. What's your opinion? That is true. Always do what's best for you, L. Just pop into the chat so he can see your handle. There are so many people who are connected in this case. It's wild. It sure is. No doubt about it, El. You got it. I've been watching. Good job, El. Congrats. Congrats. I've been watching. What do you all think about? Is there anybody there at the Catalina Foothills that would have a reason to get rid of streamers? Let's go that direction. April, like, subscribe, and share. It helps the channel and much appreciated. What literally, who is in the Catalina Foothills? Who else is there that do not like the streamers being there? I'm going to move this conversation. Sue Wellen for sure, says Kiki. 110% Kiki. And thank you again for uh those memberships. Thank you, Kiki. Appreciate you a lot. Come on, everybody. Think. Who else could be involved in not wanting the streamers there? Oh, that sun is right on me. That's why. I'm gonna move back a little bit, guys. Hang on. I'm over here baking, wondering why am I baking, and it's like because I'm right in the sun. It found me. All right, everybody. Who do you think else is not wanting literally the YouTubers there, the streamers? Kiki, she's definitely one person who doesn't want them there, says L. No doubt. I think whoever did the rock and the cacti thing knows something, in my opinion. April, A and T laughing out loud. Kiki, Sue Ellen for sure. Let me ask you this question, everybody. What needs to be done to get this to resolve between the streamers and HOA leader Sue Ellen? What's your all's take? What's your all take, everybody? J Bug says the Guthrie family. Spot on. Spot on. Great answer, J Bug. Great answer. Awesome. That's an awesome answer, J Bug. You know why? Because the family should want the streamers to still be there. The family should want the streamers to go ahead and be able to go ahead and look for their mom or keep their mom's name alive. Very well said, J Bug. Very well said. Thank you for that. Appreciate that comment. April, Gem Guy. Yeah, he wouldn't want any police there. So if there's streamers, there's going to be police watching the streamers. He probably doesn't want any attention. That's a very good point, April. Very good point. L. Gronsky. I wonder if that's the way things are, or people are just frustrated. Not sure with that. Not sure with that. Gronsky, the people have grown so very hostile in the Catalina foothills. Very true, Gronsky. Well said. Well said. So what do they need to do? What do you think the streamers might want to do to try to bridge this gap with the main player in Sue Ellen as in charge of the HOA, in my opinion? What do you think? Are they there? Are the streamers really hurting anybody or anything? Gronsky, I'm afraid it will continue to escalate. I think you're right, Gronsky. No doubt, L. No doubt. Totally agree with that. Has anybody tried to get a meeting with HOA that's over there in Tucson, in the Catalina foothills? Has anybody tried? Do we know? Because it all starts with literally the communication. In my opinion, A&T are a part of that neighborhood, and none of them is thinking about that or seeing it fear. Very true. Very, very true. There's a train in my background. Just bear with me. It'll be gone soon. Very true. Do you think that the people at the Catalina foothills, do you think, L says, I don't think anyone's tried. That's my point. Well said, L. I'm with you 110%. I don't think anyone has tried to have that communication, in all honesty, in my opinion. And what I'm talking about is being able to have and try to get a meeting with the HOA when they have their meetings. I don't think anybody has tried that. I think there's been so much friction that no one wants to even dare approach it. The Jersey lady. Yes, there was a reporter early on who went. It was the one from the Daily Mirror for the UK, and he tried to go to a meeting, and they told him he couldn't come. But now here's the thing about that. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, Jersey lady. But here's the thing. That individual wasn't from Tucson. He wasn't from there, right? So they could have very well looked at him as an outsider, just wanting to come here and create problems, right? But when you got people that live there in Tucson, literally, you have the Juice, you have Alex, you have 857, you have, I think, AJ's from that area. You have other streamers that are there. Do you not think that maybe they should take that initiative and try to get a meeting with Sue Ellen at their next council, at their next meeting, HOA meeting, so they can see where they can come together? What's your thoughts on that? Because they have to respect people that live there, because they live there. They live in that area. It's not a bad idea. Maybe a meeting could bring some resolution, maybe a separate meeting, just HOA and streamers, so they see the streamers are there for the right reasons. It may be worth it. It's worth a shot. Absolutely. Well said, L. Absolutely. You know why it's worth a shot? Because you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Because you are now literally putting the ball in their court by saying, hey, what can we do to get your stamp of approval? Is there anything we can do to try to bridge this rather than to have the animosity? What would you like us to be able? Are we here too much? Can we, different time, this, that, and the other? You know what I'm saying? You have to bring out the discussion in order to get people involved, in order to get people interested in wanting to hear what's going on. L. Try. Gronsky, those $1 million homes are not worth a dime to me. Sad. No, I agree, Gronsky. I'm with you. I sure as hell would not want to live there. Not with all the tension, not with how it appears that they feel towards Nancy, and how even the friends of Nancy's don't even have the courage to stand up when they know something may not be right. Oh, they may turn them down, but doesn't hurt to try. It never hurts to try. Here's the thing: if you don't try, then they always can come back to you and say, "Well, you never asked." Wouldn't that be the shit? They would have let you do something, but you never asked. I'm not saying that that's just not a ploy on their end, but the reality is that if you don't ask, yeah, you're never going to know. Pay says, yeah, why a PI all of a sudden? That's suspicious after 111 days, in my opinion. And no doubt. No communication because they will go against the lady in the neighborhood who is Annie, in my opinion. They have to live with her. That's a very good point, April. Very good point. April, it's all over the internet. A&T are under the microscope. They don't want to go against them. Imagine living there with them. Oh, I get it. That's a very good point. No doubt. That was me. I did that. I kept getting this notification going on. I don't even see any friends of Nancy ever. It's all over the internet. Imagine living there with them. Kiki, I was surprised as well. She rode by. To think the idea is that we're not having communication as a whole is probably a big part of it. And LOHOL or HOA not having the courtesy to have a conversation with the streamers is only hurting everybody. And I get it. For her, it doesn't matter because she just goes a block down or whatever, and she's in her house. People are being so nasty to L2. People are being so nasty to L2. Who's L? I saw someone accuse L of being a perp. I don't believe that for a minute. L. Help me out, everybody. Who are we talking about? L. Help me out there. 1985. Lauren. Okay. Got you. Got you. Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. Paige, Alex, and all streamers. If the streamers are not leaving due to these rocks and all these cacti that were chopped up and put out there, why not go ahead? Why not just meet them in the middle? I'm not talking about streamers, I'm talking about HOA. You're not going to get rid of these people. Okay? Even if they have to bring a broom or a rake or something down there with them to rake all that garbage away, being the cacti, they're not going to leave. So why not have a conversation? Why won't the HOA have a conversation? No problem. I definitely don't think she's involved. She's supporting the streamers, one of a few. Kiki, L, I think she is scared and is just laying low. Too much to hide. Very possible. Very possible. Because the only reason you want streamers there is because they bring the attention and the traction to anybody that goes by there, and they bring with them, not by their intentions, but because law enforcement wants to see what they're doing, they bring the law down. So anytime the law is close by to your area and you don't want them around, what do? You can't get rid of the law, so what do? You get rid of the reason why they're there. Case in point, you get rid of the streamers. Oh, Kiki SE, you mean? I think so also. April, chain went up, and then the rocks and cacti. And days later, still, there was an approval to happen. There was approved to happen, whoever did this would have been addressed. That is true. That is 100% true. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. If you are on the stream or watching, please click like. Subscribe if you are new. Subscribe, click like. Let's get that going, everybody. Let's get that algorithms going. See, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I also know that in law enforcement, if someone doesn't want me to come down, aka somebody from the Catalina foothills don't want to see police in my area, well, I can look outside the box and say, we're here because of the streamers. And if the streamers go, they get rid of the streamers. There's really not a whole lot we're going to do except just drive every 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes. Because that's what they want, right? They went to the hills to be on their own by themselves, their privacy. But what are they doing in that privacy? Are they doing things that are not or are very suspicious? And if so, that would be a good reason to get rid of the streamers. You're drawing people to us and we don't like it. Hell, definitely. Share the channel. Also, if you don't mind, let's keep growing together. Hoorah, Semper Fi. Well said, L. So think about that for a minute. If you don't want cops coming by often, you get rid of the streamers because they could continue to do what they've always done, whatever that thing is. I don't know what it is, but whatever that thing is, they can go back to doing and being and doing what they always done. So they get rid of the streamers. There's not a whole lot of cops there no more. Streamers are there. Cops are going to come by. Makes no sense, right? Makes perfectly sense. That's how you get cops away from your area. You eliminate the reason why they're coming in the first place. Hell, I never thought about trying to have a meeting. That's a good idea, DD, in my opinion. Nothing hurts at this point because all that's happening is people are still angry. You know, HOA is still trying to undercut. What next? They're going to put nails all over the side of the easement. Are they going to put glass, broken glass, all over the side of the easement? You know, what lengths does the HOA go to get streamers out of there? What lengths do they go through? You know, do they put what? Do they put? I mean, they put cacti. That has a lot of prickling prickers on them. They put cacti to make it uncomfortable. They put rocks to make it unstable. So what's next? What's next? I'm telling you, A&T are behind this. Nothing else makes sense. April, so true. I'm starting to believe that 100%. April, well said. Neighbors are backing them. L, cop literally said that they were called because one of the streamers was interviewing people. All right, maybe they shouldn't interview people. Maybe they just should focus on just Nancy's house and talk about why it's important that we find Nancy. Maybe that's a way to kind of squash some of this tension. Just a possibility. Gronsky, A&T want to get the focus off of them, and they are failing. Oh, no doubt, because these streamers are not going nowhere. Al says, "Yep, April and Gronsky." Paige, April, yes. In my opinion, masterminds are A&T. Why hasn't Savannah addressed any of this? Why hasn't Cameron addressed any of this? Why hasn't? Now I'm not talking. They don't have to talk about Nancy, but why haven't they addressed? Hey, we really like having the streamers out there because they really do keep our mom's legacy alive. for a better lack of words. Why not say that? We appreciate everything the streamers are doing. They are really out there because they want our mom to come home. Where is that conversation? When does that happen? I think it's so strange to call the cops to say streamers is interviewing people. Silly, in my opinion. Very, very silly, Al. Paige, again, I hope and pray I'm wrong about A&T. April, Savannah, in my opinion, in close contact with authorities and told to act normal. Gronsky, S wants to maintain the good life with money from NBC, the competitors. Yes. Very possible in all those. Very possible. Very, very possible. So see, the whole point is now if the family are not willing to support streamers, people that are trying to find their mom, at what point in time is enough enough? Let me ask you that question. That's a more tougher question. At what point is enough enough? When family don't care about their own mom or give the impression they don't care, I can't say they don't care, but when they give the impression of non support of people that are trying to find their mom, when they give that impression, is it fair to say, if they don't care, why does anybody else care then? Gronsky S wants to maintain. L, yep, I agree, April. She's heading to UK soon, I guess, says L. J Bug, hypothetically, if Savannah made a plea for the streamers to leave, what should the streamers do? Leave. Leave. Leave, in my opinion. In my opinion. They could still go down to a different part, a different area, and still do their streaming there. Hey, why are you guys out here? Because obviously the family doesn't care. They wanted us to leave, so we're leaving. We're leaving, but we're going down the hill because you know what? We don't know what the hell's going on with that family, but they're not right in their mind. Because if it was my mom, I'd be looking for these people who took my mother. So therefore, we're camped out down here at the end of the road going down, and we're going ahead and doing our lives there. Why? Why? Because to us, it matters. Everyone matters. Everyone matters. Nancy matters. Maybe take that some approach like that. But see, Savannah can't say that, Jay. Savannah can't say that. And the reason I say she can't say that is because if she says that in public opinion, it could hurt her so bad. I mean, we think her ratings are not the greatest right now. They could literally plummet if she was to come out and say something like that. That's why she probably doesn't say it, to be honest. Could she be thinking that? Probably. But that's why she wouldn't say it because it would hurt her inner core. It would hurt her how people perceive her and think of her. Wow, that woman talks about this, that, and the other, and she can't even look for her mom. She wants everybody gone. Who does that? What's wrong with this family? That's what you would hear, right? L, she may leave for for an arrest. I don't know, but that's a very good point, J Bug. No doubt about it. L, April, I didn't even think that, but she's definitely keeping her distance. Jay, leave in my opinion, says Al. If Savannah came out and said that, I think I would leave as a streamer. I wouldn't stop reporting. I wouldn't stop, you know, calling for where's Nancy. I wouldn't stop looking. I would just leave because public opinion is going to literally catch up to the Guthrie family, the remainders, in my opinion. Are we not here for Nancy in the first place? Sure. Yes, we are. It wouldn't be a good look for Savannah, not at all, J Bug, not at all. It would actually, I think it could cripple her in the sense of the people that really are on the fence of enjoying her commentary and liking her could look at her in a different light, and they would have every right to, no doubt about it. After a comment like that, if she ever made, she's definitely keeping her system. Says L. It if family asks them to leave, they should leave. That's just my opinion. But she won't do that because she doesn't want to hurt her reputation as someone who is that wealthy and yet shows no compassion, doesn't show any sense of urgency to locate or find her mother. That's why she won't do it. It's really a bad position to be in, to be honest. Gronsky, are we not here for Nancy? Yes, we are. It wouldn't be a good look for Savannah. J Bug. April, no family has made a public announcement for streamers to leave that I have seen. No family. I agree with that, April. I have not seen that at all. But if they did, the question was asked, if they did, should the streamers leave? As caught between a rock and a hard place. Really? Yeah, I guess I can understand that. I know where you're coming from, and you're right. But you're going to put your career in jeopardy because you want them to leave, or you're going to go ahead and promote them to be there because you want to find your mom. Right? I mean, you follow me? I agree with what you're saying. It's just it's how someone goes ahead and analyzes that is what I'm saying. Yeah, it would be a good look for them to ask people keeping Case alive to leave. L, not a good look at all. Gronsky, this is why I financially support the streamers. Amen, Gronsky. I'm behind you 110%, my friend. I have lots. I have lost much of my interest in NBC due to this. Case in point, right there. Case in point, Gronsky. Well said. L. No, April. I haven't seen that. I don't think they will. The neighborhood isn't going to give up, though I don't think. It'd be nice, no doubt. Well said. Page wars everywhere. April, 100 days. 100 days. They could have been asked to leave, in my opinion. One family member wants them there. L. Someone came over loudspeaker or megaphone yesterday and told a streamer not to loiter. But then he called and they said he could be there. I think it was someone in the parking lot with a megaphone. Very possible. That was at the sheriff station. L. April, I agree. See, this is why this is all so effed up. It's so effed up. The sheriff lost control of this whole investigation from the beginning. The family has really hurt their reputation by how they acted and what they didn't say to what they could have said, what they didn't do to what they could have done. It's a no brainer, everybody. This has been a cluster F, and you know what I mean? A cluster F. Someone was meeting with the streamers, in my opinion. Someone was. Okay, and what makes you say that? Playing games. It's possible. It is possible. L, no doubt. See, the whole idea is that you want the people to leave, but then you want to come on TV and you want to say you want your mom back. You want the streamers to leave, then you say, "Oh, we want to find our mom." Okay? It's either we want the family We want the people to help look for our mom because we want to find our mom, like she said before, alive or unalive, or we don't. So, what is it, Guthrie family? What is it that you want? I mean, I would like to think it's that you want your mother back, unalive or alive, because you want to go ahead and be with her, because you want to cherish a moment of truth that you want to celebrate a life well lived. That's what you want, Guthrie family. But that's not what you're saying. And that is not what you're hinting at. That is not what you're speaking of. You are saying nothing. That's literally silence is complicit. In other words, you are being silent because you don't want to take a stand because there's too much to lose and, in your opinion, not enough to gain. That's what everybody's seeing. It's seeing that in your body language. It's seeing that in your persona. It's seeing that because you're not doing anything on one extreme or the other, Guthrie family. So you can't say on one hand, oh, we miss you, mom, we love you. And on the other hand, say, I'm not going to go ahead and support streamers. I'm not going to support people who are looking for my mom. That's asinine. It was your brother in law, and you knew and waiting and told what to do. What would you do thinking outside the box? If it was your brother in law and you knew and waiting and told what to do, what would you do? Well, to answer that question, April, if I'm getting what you're asking me, if it was my brother in law, God be with him. Okay, first off, that's just the first thing. God be with him if it was my brother in law. And you knew, and I knew that it was him, and waiting and told what to do, told told what to do, what would you do? First of all, I put him in check real quick. Second of all, I'm not sure if I would even allow him to even speak when he's trying to direct me in that type of fashion. I don't think I would allow him to speak. I think that would close just like that. You know why? Because this here's the thing. To tell if that happened to me, what would I do, April? I guess to answer your question, I wouldn't allow him to say a damn thing if that was my brother-in-law. And God help him because it would not be good for him. Thinking outside the box, I think I think I would be on him just as much as everybody is, like white on rice. In all honesty, I think I would be on his every movement, in my opinion. Yes, 1985. That's exactly what happened. Thank you so much for info. Gronsky, I used to think better of the Guthrie family at the beginning. Now I wonder. Very true, Gronsky. Very true. Well said. Page, and it's sad. No problem. I hate this. People aren't always what they seem to be. I know L pays the truth. A song in my heart is in the house. Everybody. I think when YouTubers leave, the family has more freedom to move, to move around. There'll be some new clues. And that could be why the FBI wants everybody to get the hell out of there. It could be why the sheriff's department wants everybody to get out of there. That's a very good point. It could be that. It could very well be that. That's why they want them to leave so that people can continue with their everyday and then make a mistake. I could see that wholeheartedly. Good point. Paid. Thanks, 1985. Paige, hi, Song of My Heart. Paige, we missed you. L, Paige, Song of My Heart says hi. They need room to make mistakes. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I agree with that wholeheartedly. They are walking on eggshells and they know it. And there's nothing they can do except wait it out. And that could be what's making this a long game because they're not able to go ahead and do anything like they were planning to do because it would literally come back and it would look bad on them. Hell, welcome back, dog. Hey, song, didn't think of that before. Very good point there, song. Good point, song. Hi, everyone. I think everyone help has actually slowed down the case. That's a very possibility. That's a very good possibility. April, but FBI and sheriff are not asking them to leave. Family isn't either. So make it make sense. Well, because the public opinion would shred literally anyone who really came out and said everyone needs to leave. Do you know public opinion would, in my opinion, would destroy a person's character and a person who they really are by saying something like that? In my opinion, that's exactly what would happen. Exactly what would happen. And they don't want to take that fall. They don't want to go down that road because of that reason. Song says, yep, that's the bottom line. So the idea and the theory are good, but the problem is that no answers are getting done because these people can't go outside that box. Because if they go outside that box, guess what? There's going to be somebody capturing it on video, right? They go anywhere. There's going to be somebody there capturing it. So maybe they are in a way, maybe not meaningly, not doing it intentionally, but in a way, it's almost like they are slowing the investigation down to a certain extent, not because they're doing it intentionally, but because of how the dynamics are playing out. L says they're not asking, but they may be behind what neighborhood is doing. It would be good if the family did it. L would look so bad on them, worse than some people already view them. That is so true. Groundsky, look at how hard this or even all of us to even try to understand this. It's very difficult, Groundsky. Well said. Very difficult. You just can't have both extremes. On one hand, you cannot say you want your mommy home, and then in the next part, you can't say, hey, we want all streamers to go. You can't get your mommy home unless people are looking for her. So if you're wanting everybody to leave, then it sends a mixed message. And when you send a mixed message, the question is always asked why. Why are you sending mixed messages? Because here's the thing, you're not confusing anybody, you're just making yourself look a lot less than, in my opinion. Think about that for a minute. It makes no sense. None. Zero. You ask one thing and you do another. Jenny's in the house. Sue Ellen needs collagen. No doubt. Welcome in, Jenny. No doubt. No doubt. Click that like, everybody. There's so many things that could happen here for the good of Nancy, but it's not happening because the people, the ultimate people that have to be the mouthpiece of this is the family, and we're not hearing it. See, when the family asks for help, when the family talks, when the family speaks, people want to rally behind that, right? People want to come behind it. They want to help the family. They feel that it's only right thing to do. But when they don't say nothing, who rallies around them? Hello, Jenny, says Al. Nobody. April, Didi calm me down. Didi calms me down. I am so lost with this case, but determined to put it all together. So the idea is they have to be the vocal piece. They have to be the mouthpiece. They have to be the ones. Do you know what would happen if Savannah came out and said, "We are so happy that everybody is still concerned about our mom. We know things don't look very well or look very good, but we thank everybody for being out there and we hope you guys stay out there as long as you can because we want your support." My God, could you see everything? Could you see the numbers just jump off the roof? Could you see the amount of people that would be going down there in droves if Savannah would just come out and say that? Can you imagine how many people would come to help if the family would just say that? We know our mom is probably gone, but we're so thankful for all the streamers and everyone who has looked for her. And the only thing we can ask you and say to you is thank you. And we hope that you never leave and you will always be there to help find our mom and bring her home. It'd go up the roof, but they're not saying that. Remember what I always say? It's not always what you see, it's what you don't see. It's not always what you hear, it's what you don't hear. Those are the elements that if those things were spoken, you would get a hell of a lot more support, in my opinion. All right, let me read some of these. Hello, Jenny. Diddy calms me down, says April. L. Now I'm laughing some comedy relief, says L. Browski, we lost the momentum to rally behind the family now. Browski, I am here for Nancy. L. Don't forget to like and subscribe, please, everyone. If you are watching, please subscribe if you like the channel. Thank you so much, dog. And pup, says Paige. Bring Nancy home, says L. Jenny, the family is weird. They're weird because they're not doing what you would expect someone who has just lost a loved one to do. They are weird because they're not making any sense of what they're wanting. They are weird because they're not communicating with the people that are there for them. If everyone if everyone's if everyone stopped, they would be crying on TV. Go look for her. So make it make sense. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. Fans in the house. Very well said, Kiki. Thank you. April says, but if FBI tells you to quiet you, be quiet. And that tells me an arrest is coming and it's family involved. That is very possible. That is very possible. In all honesty, it's not going to be people that are not from here. It's going to be people that live right next to her. That is so true. That is so true. 100%. So then, really, the understanding has to come from the family, literally, the family. They are the ones that can dictate how this goes. Maybe not how Nancy's found, but they can dictate who really stays and who really goes. It just depends on what route they want to take. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, right? The family says, "We need your help." Bam, everybody's there. Shovels, foots in hands, they're ready to rock and roll. Hell, Cajun Navy could stop by, they're ready to rock and roll. We want our mom back. Mommy, we won't stop looking for you. And it's almost like you hear something say back, daughter, get the Cajun Navy out here. That's all you got to do. Tell the people to keep searching. I know it sounds crazy, but that's exactly what it's going to take. L says, and A&T hiding for lots of reasons, in my opinion. We don't see them for lots of reasons. covering faces for lots of reasons doesn't look good. Amen. No doubt about it, Al. Gronsky family may be bullseye. I agree with that wholeheartedly. April, only Savannah asked for help. A and T didn't say anything, and Nanos refused help. It's just so frustrating, everybody. It's frustrating. It is so frustrating. L, say something, A&T, say something, anything. If you care about your mom, say something. If you care about bringing her home for a life well lived, say something. If you care about just bringing her home so you can go ahead and have her rest in place and celebrate a life well lived, say something. But by saying nothing, you are the problem. Yes, yes, you are the problem. I get it. Everybody grieves differently, but this we're past the point where either you want the streamers there or you don't. Either you want the people to help search or you don't. But this shit about back and forth, bring mommy home is not going to happen if you have no one looking for her. Bring mommy home is not going to happen. Mommy's not coming home like that. You're going to need people to help look to bring mommy home. My opinion. Thinking if the streamers left and we stopped talking and asking questions, they would do cartwheels. Yeah, no doubt. That's what it appears like. That's their persona. That's what they carry. That's how they that's how they present themselves. I'm not saying that's how they feel, but that's how you're presenting yourself. HOA, you're the same way. That's how you're presenting yourself. You're not presenting yourself as a caring, loving, elderly lady. You're looking like the most obnoxious, non-caring about a human life. That's what you're showing. That's exactly what you're showing. So the idea that, I can tell them whatever, this, that, and the other, you're only making yourself look like a fool, in my opinion. Literally. Because you're out there. You're acting like you have no heart, no compassion. Like your own mother could go missing and it wouldn't bother you a damn. That's what it looks like. That's what it sounds like. Hello, fan. Hey, yo. You know, there has to be a lot of what is exactly what that family wants. The people that are out there on their own volition, by their own free will. Okay, they're out there at their own free will trying to help a cause, for a cause, bring Nancy home. They should not be ridiculed. They should not be yelled at. They should not be disrespected. They should not be physically harmed or verbally hurt. They should not be, uh, for a better lack of words, literally being targeted. These people are just there on their own free volition trying to keep that story alive. So the idea that streamers have to go above and beyond and take all this BS, that's BS. They don't have to take that. They don't deserve that because they're out there on their own accord, literally. And people who love Nancy are not doing anything to show their love by going ahead and not calling it out for what it is. My opinion. Gronsky, I enjoy your comments, fan. Yes, DD, agree. A&T April says A&T Bitcoin call. 42 days car cab. Last one to see Nancy delayed. Nancy, delayed phone call to Savannah, reported walkaway with blood, case involved, case solved. Those are some very strong points, April, and I think you're right on it. I really do. I totally agree with everything you say. Streamers deserve everyone's respect. Absolutely. People forget streamers are the reasons they're out there is because of Nancy, not because of HOA, not because of the people that are walking every day, not because of the people that are pushing their strollers every day, not because the people are out there doing their exercises every day. See, Nancy can't do none of that. So they are out there to try to keep the story alive. We know what happens when the story ends up becoming unalive. Nothing. That's what they're trying to prevent. And yet, streamers are treated like they're less than. They're the second class. They're the lower class. They have no business being out there. Really? Says who? Who decided they have no business being out there? Someone who what? Think about it. Who decides that they should not be out there? Someone who's constantly drinking, someone who is never on her P's and Q's, someone who is just angry, someone that hates the world. What? Who decides that? These streamers are not hurting anybody. All they're doing is trying to put out the information and trying to find little nuggets here and there. They're keeping case alive while family isn't. I agree with that, L. Paige with the heart. I love streamers. They bring me to life and show me their unique experiences. L says Lisa same. All right, everybody, we're gonna go ahead and end this live. We're gonna end it. It didn't look, we didn't have a lot of people in here, but we had important people in here, people with ideas and thoughts and morals and feelings and values. We have people in here who give their case on why we do what we do. We have people here that use common sense and break down things and ask the right questions. And for that, it is priceless. I don't care if I had five of you. The reality is we have a lot of people that listen. We have a lot of people that watches our lives later. And that will happen again because it happens every day. So with that, I just want to tell you all thank you. Thank you very much. Jenny, don't don't live. This is and will always be my favorite YouTube channel. We do the best we can with what we got. We make things happen. We speak our minds. We say it respectfully. We give everybody a chance to be able to go ahead and give their opinions and answer those opinions. No one's right. No one's wrong. We can always agree to disagree. So that's what makes this channel who we are. If you want to be a part of that, please subscribe. Be a part of that. Be a part of let it How better feeling do you have when someone actually answers your call? When someone answers your questions or opinions or comments on your opinions? What better feeling is that? There's none. You know why? Because it matters. It matters to you and it should matter to everyone. So without further ado, everybody, God bless you. I'll be back 5 p.m. Have a great, great rest of your morning, afternoon. It is hot out here. I'll see you all at 5. With that, Semper Fi, everybody. Semper Fi. It's all common sense, folks.